Hello, universe. Do you find that people keep forgetting your name? You're not getting credit for the things that you are doing. You show up when you're asked and told to do so, and no one really seems to care. Well, you could be stuck in a phase called passive life. Passive life is the idea that you move through without being mindful, attentive, or conscious of all of the steps that you're taking. So, for example, let's say that you are in autopilot. You're driving home from work and now you're home. Do you remember the drive? Maybe not. This is an example of not so serious passive life. And then we move a little bit deeper into, did I feed my cat this morning? Was that chicken I pulled out of the freezer, was that yesterday night or last night? Ooh, a little questionable. Don't really want to be touching that too much. Or we get down to the very bottom of it where you are really trying to focus and you're showing up and someone keeps taking advantage of you and you're not really sure how to handle it, so it just keeps happening. That could be a very destructive form of passive life, and we don't want to be in any of these states, but we're human. Of course we're going to come into these states every once in a while when we're overwhelmed, when we're having anxiety, when things just feel like too much and you need to bring yourself back down. So how do we cope with all of these different happenings in life when it's so much sometimes? How do you practice not being stuck in passive life? Well, there's a few different ways. So I'm going to shift gears and look at my beautiful little book here. Ta-da! So let's make up a little scenario here, okay? So you wake up in the morning, you have that chicken in the fridge, you're like, was that last night or the night before? Okay, we'll worry about that when I get home from work. You're gonna cook dinner anyways, right? Now you're driving to work, you don't really remember the drive there. Now your boss is like, oh, get us some coffees, we want some coffees. You're like, okay, sounds good. You go to the coffee shop and the barista is super friendly, and then he asks you for your number and you're like, no. But you kind of like trying to flirt anyways just to be nice and do the fawning thing, and then you leave and you're like, what was that dude's name? I should remember that dude's name, and you don't remember it at all. Now you're back at work and you're thinking about the concert that you're going to on the weekend. You're like, okay, that's gonna be super awesome. And then Tina from marketing comes over and she's like, hey, you want to pitch on Karen from accounting's cake for her birthday? And you're like, okay, now we're in a choice here, okay? So all of these other examples are not super detrimental to your well-being. They could be. They very easily could be. But this one is now getting a little bit personal because now you are being asked to fork over cash that you happen to have in your wallet, your purse, whatever it may be. Now that is going to interfere with the concert you're going to on the weekend. You're really looking forward to it. You want that t-shirt so bad. It's limited edition. You have 4 of them. You got to get the 5th one, right? Whatever it is. Okay. You don't know Karen. You're not really going to think too much on it. And so you can either just passively be like, yeah, sure, here's $5. Go get the cake, whatever. I don't really care. What about that t-shirt though, right? Or now this is the conscious choice. I am going to that concert. No, Tina, I will not be pitching on the cake this time. I don't have it in my budget. You don't need to owe any explanation. You don't need to tell him what you're doing with your money. It's yours. You've worked for it. You should get the credit and all of the things that you deserve from the work that you're putting in, regardless of what Tina or Karen think. Okay. Now you're like, okay, I made a decision. This is super awesome. Now you're getting ready to go home. You hop in the car and let's say Timmy from whatever department you want to make up comes out to your car and he's leaning on your window and he's flirting with you and he grabs your hand. Ooh, right? Now another decision-making moment. He does this probably about once or twice a week. You're kind of like, I've had enough, but I don't really want to be rude. Like, what if he tells the managers, I kind of need this job. I want to go to more concerts. Okay, shifting gears back into this decision making. Okay, You can say no, get your hand off of me, leave me alone. Yeah, you might be risking him talking to the managers, but then you can also go to the HR head and be like, hey, this guy is sexually harassing me at work. Stand up for yourself. Create those boundaries. Having boundaries is not a passive life decision. It is a very conscious, attentive form of living. Then you could also just roll the window up and drive away. And that's kind of passive aggressive. It's an option though. Do with that what you will. Now you're driving back home. You're kind of aware of your day, but not aware of the drive at all. You're thinking about Tina. You're like, did I make the right choice? Well, what about Karen? Is that the Karen I'm thinking of? Blah, 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 blah. Now, Timmy, that was really weird, right? And now you're back home. You're wrapping up for bed. You're like, did I feed my cat dinner? Did I water those plants? You look and see all the dead plants on the windowsill. And now you're thinking about that chicken in the fridge again. You're like, oh, but I'm so tired. But did I pull that out last night or the night before? Okay, conscious decision time. Once again, what do you do? Do you get up and try to look at your calendar and try to recall when you pulled the chicken out? Or do you just forfeit it and be like, I'm going to throw it away, but it was a living animal? That's not really conducive to conscious living. Or do you just cook it and wing it and hope for the best because you know you got 5 sick days, but the concert's this weekend? Okay, so decision-making time. This is a decision that is entirely up to you. In this scenario, what would you do? Drop your answer in the caption below, or the comments below. There's a lot of different options that we make and a lot of different choices that we make all the time. So when Karen sometimes doesn't remember your name, you don't even remember who Karen is, that is a mutual passive life exchange, right? You guys are in the same office every day. You guys see each other probably every day, maybe every other day, but you don't have any recollection. Are you a memorable person? Are you living in a way that exudes confidence? Are you living in a way that allows other people to be inspired by you and be like, wow, that is you. That is you, right? Or are you the one getting the window rolled up on? Let's pretend that made a little bit more sense. But now let's talk about how we can practice these different ways of conscious living. So you could start with the really bare basics, right? Do you correct people when they say your name wrong? You know, that's kind of important. That's who you are. It's the first way that you express yourself. Every time that you are met with this person again, they're going to be saying your name wrong. There's kind of, I don't know, in my opinion, there's a kind of a window of, oh, that's not my name. And then after a certain amount of times, now you're just like, that's my name to them. And you just kind of let it go. That's also passive life, but we'll get to that later. What about your favorite color? Do you have a favorite color? Do you consider these things in your day-to-day? Like, okay, well, what color water bottle do I have? Do I drink water on a regular basis? Is this something that I am allowing myself to take care of throughout the day? Or do I put other people's needs and other people's asks over my desires and my needs? Water is pretty important. Think about your water bottle just for a moment. Maybe your glass if you're a remote worker, and do you have a favorite cup that you use for water throughout the day? Just think about it. What about enjoying meals? That chicken wouldn't be sitting there if you were really present and focused and be like, I am making a chicken risotto with green tea ice cream for dessert. For dinner, right? And that's something you're going to look forward to. You're going to have all the ingredients. It's going to be an exciting experience. You get to sit there and bask in the flavors and the textures of the meal that you created with love for yourself. Oh, my mouth is watering. I love green tea ice cream. Anyway, there's different ways that you can go about this. And then if you really want to step up the ways that you operate in a conscious way, start from the very moment you wake up in the morning. Is my pillow comfortable? When was the last time that I cleaned my pillowcase? Do I prefer to sleep with my socks on or off? Did I sleep better with my socks off? What about the flavor of your toothpaste? Have you just been using it and buying it out of habit because that's what you've done? That's the same toothpaste your parents bought you when you were younger. Never really thought about it. Do you like that flavor? Maybe try getting a different flavor next time. Back to your water bottle. What, do you have any stickers on it? Do you decorate it? When was the last time that you thought about that? Just start moseying through each step of your day. And you don't have to spend a ton of thought either. It's not about taking a meditation in every single moment, that like just pouring a glass of water. I mean, you could. That is a great meditation. Sitting with it and being like, okay, do I like the taste of my water? Would I prefer a Brita filter, or would I prefer delivery water? All these different options that you have. We live in a luxury space of choices, so it can get overwhelming. But are you moving in a way that is only through your habits, or are you moving through a way that is through joy, right? These are questions to begin asking yourself, to step out of that passive life, passive living, into conscious life and conscious living. So, who are you? Say your name loud and proud and correct it when it is not pronounced correctly. Say no more often when something feels like it's an obligation. And say yes only when it can be a hell yes, right? These are things that are very simple in action, but much more of a mental battle. So practicing it will be the key to getting that success, getting the credit that you deserve. If so-and-so is going to step on your toes for the promotion that you just got offered, no, sir. You're going to step up. You're going to put in the extra work. You're going to make it known that your name is on that work. You're going to get credit for it. You're going to get accolades. You're going to get that promotion. You're going to become more successful. You'll be seen more. You'll be remembered more. And it's not about fame. It's not about credit per se. These are just consequences that will come from living consciously, right? All right. That's all I have for you today. This is inspired entirely from, I can't remember what phase it is right now. My workbook that I write called TengDios. It's a subscription. You can opt in for the annual subscription. Hi, Shiva. That's Shiva, my little baby. And no, I don't forget to feed her. She's very vocal, a little more than... Anyways, you can opt in for the annual subscription, which is $50 for the entire year, and the whole package moves through these waves. So you'll receive from the very beginning of the subscription, which started in March of this year, 2024, and will go until March of next year. So if you opt in for this annual subscription, you'll get 12 editions total. Not all at once, but you'll receive all of the backlog ones and then pick up on the subscription releases. If you want to do the regular monthly ones, that's $5 a month. There's not a recurring charge. It's something that you can just work out with me whenever you're ready. And then there's also an assisted version, which means that every day at a time that you choose, I will text you the prompts of TengDios, so that way you can have that anchored reminder in your conscious living practice. All right, that's all I got for you today. Live spicy. I'll see you on the other side. TengDios.